Hello everyone, welcome back to the step-by-step Fiori app development series by Intellect Consulting. This is our third tutorial, and in today's session we are going to learn how to navigate between multiple views and pass data from one view to another in a SAP Fiori freestyle application. In this video, we'll create two views. From the first view, we'll enter a value, click a button, and navigate to the second view. At the same time, we'll pass that entered value from the first screen and display it in the second screen. To keep things simple, our example will use a purchase order number. We'll enter the PO number in the first screen and click the button and then show that same PO number on the second screen. If you are new to this series, make sure to check out our first tutorial where we walk through setting up the complete SAP Fiori development environment. Alright, let's jump into VS Code and get started. First open Visual Studio Code and make sure your SAP Fiori development environment is already set up. If not, please refer to our previous video where we explain the complete setup step by step. Now press Ctrl-Shift-P keys together to open the command palette and type Fiori, and from the menu select Fiori Open Application Generator. And you will get the application types that you can select, and from here you have to select the first one, the basic one, and click on that and click on next. And here you have to give the data sources and service selections. Since we are not using any data bindings here, we can select none and click on next. And here we have to give the initial view name that we are going to use. So I will give it as first view for now. And now we have to give the project attributes. So we have to give the module name, application title, and the application namespace as well. So I will give the module name for the project that I'm doing. So I will give as Intellect tutorial tree, and I will give tutorial tree as the application title, and the application namespace also I have to give. So for that I will give as Intellect tutorial.fiori, training.fiori. And that's it. We can click on finish now. So now you can see it is installing the dependencies. You can click on yes here. And once you click on that, the project will be generated with the basic Fiori structure, as you can see now. And let's quickly go through the project structure now. If you go into the web app folder, you will find all the application related files here. You can see the controller folder is there, and you can see the model folder is there, and the view folder. And also the files like component.js, manifest.json. These files are doing a major role in this project. And let's go to the controller. This controller folder contains all the JavaScript controllers where we write all the business logics. Right now we have only the first view controller, and later we'll create the second view controller as well. And if you go to the view folder, this view folder contains all the XML views which defines the UI. And here we have the first view XML, and we'll also create the second view XML here. And if you go to the component.js file, it is responsible for initializing the application and loading the router. And if you go to the manifest.json, it is a very important file. It contains all the application configurations, routing informations, models, and metadata related to this project. So if we talk more about this manifest.json file, we define which views exist, how navigation works, what parameters are passed during the navigation. And here we will be defining two routes as well, one for the first view, one for the second view. And for the second view, define a route pattern that accepts a parameter called PO number. So now let's run this application and see how this looks like. So we need to open a terminal here, and we can type npm start and press enter. So it is loading, as you can see. So here we can see that only the tutorial tree is there, because we haven't done anything in the UI yet. So it is blank now. So now we can create these elements for this screen. Let's go back into the code, and we can go to the first view. Okay, so for our scenario, we need another view here. So I will just copy this existing view and paste it here. And then I will rename it as a second view. And I will change this into second view now. And now we need to create the control as well for this one. So I will just copy this existing controller for the first view, and I will paste it there. And I will rename it as second view controller. Okay. So here also I will change it as second view. And now let's go into the first view, and we can create the input field and the button. So here I will create the content tags, and I will add a input field here. And we need to give ID for this. So I will just give it as PO input, and I will give a placeholder as well. So for the placeholder, I will give it as enter PO number. And then we need a button. So we can click on this and go to the next screen. So here I will create a button here, and I will give the text as show details. And I will give the type as emphasized. And here, so this is something important. So the on-press is basically the event handler for the button. So whenever the user clicks that button, SAP UI5 will call a function with the same name inside the controller file. So in here, so I will give it as on-press. So it will look for an on-press function in the first view controller. So the button doesn't directly do anything, it just triggers a function in the controller. So the controller is where we write the logic. And then we can go to the first view controller, and we can test whether this button is working. So we can define our onPress function here. And I will just create a message box here, so we can check whether this is working or not. So I will create this message box as an information type. So I will just give a message like button clicked, button pressed. And we need to define this message box on the top as well. So I will just define it. Okay, now we can check this. So we can just save it and we can go to the browser. So as you can see, when we click on this, we can see that button message. So that means it is working. So we can remove this part and we can add our own logic now. So I will just remove this. So before writing our logic here, we can go to manifest and configure the routing there. So we can go to the manifest and if we talk about this routing allows us to move between views in the Fiori application. So in this file, we define which views exist, how navigation works, and what parameters are passed during navigation. So all these details are defined in the manifest file. And so as you can see, this is our default route, and the pattern I will make it as empty. So which means when the app loads for the first time, SAP UI5 will automatically show the first view here. And we need route for the first view and another one for the second view. So I will copy this one and I will rename it as route second view. And for this, we define a route pattern that accepts a parameter called PO number. This means when we navigate to the second view, we can pass the purchase order number through the router. So using routing, we don't need global variables or models just to pass the simple values between screens. So I will define it as PO number here. And we need another target as well. So these targets are basically the actual views that UI5 should display when a route is matched. And these targets tell UI5 which XML view to load and what its ID should be. So I will copy this one and I will rename it as target second view, and this tells UI5 which file to open for the second route. So it will open the second view here. Okay, so the routing configurations are done. We can go back to our controller and add our logic there. We can write our logic here to pass the value and to navigate to the second screen. First of all, I'm getting the route of my application because routing is what helps me navigate between views. So I'm getting the router here. And then I'm reading the value, the user type. In this case, it's PO number. So if you remember, I have used this PO input in the view. So I will assign it to this PO number. And finally, I tell the router to navigate to the second view and I pass the PO number as a parameter here. And so this is how the second view knows what value to display. So here I'm using the route second view. And I'm also passing the PO number when I'm navigating. Yeah, just like that. So the first view controller part is done now. Now we can go to the second view and we need a output text here to show our input value. So I will just add this here. So I will add a text field here and I will put the ID as txtpo. So we can show that value here in the second view. And now we can go back to the second view controller. So here inside the onInit function, I'm getting the router again. And then I'm telling the router whenever the route second view is matched, please call the onRouteMatch function. So I need to define the onRouteMatch function as well. So here, when the route second view is matched, it will call this onRouteMatch function. And this step is important because the second view must wait for the navigation to happen. Once the routing pattern, which we defined in the manifest, PO number is matched, SAP UI5 triggers onRouteMatched function. And that's how we receive the PO number that we passed from the first view. And here we can define our onRouteMatch function. Inside that function, we get the event object, and from that we extract the routing arguments. So this will give us all the parameters passed in the URL. And here, this is the same parameter we sent from the first view. And finally, using the ID of the text control in our XML, which I have given in the second view, I update the text with the PO number we just received now. So I have used the extpo there. So I will use that and I will set the text with the PO number. Okay, so that's it. We can go back to the browser and check whether our application is working now. We can add a value here 1 2 3 4 5 and click on show details. Yeah, so it is showing the value 1 2 3 4 5 in the second view. So that means when we add a value in the first view and navigate to the second view, it will show the value here. So it is working properly now. So that's how we navigate between two screens and pass values. And that's it. This is how we can perform multi-view navigation in SAP FIORI Freestyle app and pass data between those views using routing. And I hope this helped you understand how the routing flow works inside UI5. In our next session, we'll move one step further and learn how to bind data from an OData service into list control. That's going to be a very important part of building real-world FIORI applications. So make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for the next tutorial. See you in the next one.